In a faraway corner of the galaxy, the Galactic Council was gathered in a grand meeting hall. The hall was filled with representatives from different alien races, each more unusual than the last. They had come together to discuss a serious matter, the humans of Earth. The council members were confident, believing they held all the power. After all, they had advanced technology, large fleets, and centuries of experience in space warfare. To them, humans were nothing more than a small, insignificant race, unworthy of their attention. At the head of the table sat Admiral Raxor, a tall alien with blue skin and sharp features. He was known for his cunning tactics and fierce determination. Raxor looked around the room, his eyes narrowing as he spoke. Humans think they can defy us. They are primitive and weak. We should show them our strength. The room buzzed with agreement. Representatives from various races, including the reptilian Urans and the elegant Xinthians, nodded eagerly. They believed it would be easy to intimidate the humans. After some debate, they decided on a bold plan. They would send a powerful warship to Earth and attack a human vessel. It would be a show of force, a way to teach humanity a lesson. As the council made their plans, a small human ship named the Resolute was stationed near Earth, under the command of Captain Sarah Miller. She was a skilled leader with a reputation for her bravery and clever tactics. The crew of the Resolute was made up of diverse and determined humans, ready to defend their home. They had heard whispers of the council's intentions and were prepared for whatever might come their way. Captain Miller gathered her crew in the command room. "Listen up, everyone! We've received reports that the Galactic Council is planning an attack. We need to stay alert and be ready to respond. They think we are weak, but we will show them that we can fight." The crew nodded, filled with a mix of fear and determination. They understood the gravity of the situation. This wasn't just a battle. It was a fight for their planet and their future. They had to prove that humanity was not to be underestimated. Meanwhile, Admiral Raxor was preparing his warship, the mighty Vortex, for the attack. He stood on the bridge, surrounded by his officers, and watched as his crew loaded weapons and activated the ship's advanced systems. "We will crush them," he declared, his voice booming with confidence. "This will be a quick victory, and the humans will learn their place in the galaxy." As the mighty Vortex set its course for Earth, the alien fleet moved with precision. The council members believed they were invincible, blind to the truth that lay ahead. They were about to encounter a humanity that had changed over the years, a species that had faced countless challenges and emerged stronger each time. Back on the Resolute, Captain Miller and her crew monitored the alien fleet's movements. "They're getting closer," one crew member reported, a hint of fear in his voice. Miller focused on the screen, her heart racing. She knew they needed a plan. "Prepare the weapons! We may have to engage them sooner than we thought." The crew sprang into action, feeling the weight of the moment. They understood that this battle would determine their fate. Would they allow the Galactic Council to walk over them, or would they stand and fight? The tension in the air was palpable as everyone took their positions. As the mighty Vortex approached Earth, Admiral Raxor felt a surge of excitement. This will be a glorious day, he thought, confident in his plan. Little did he know that he had underestimated the humans and their resolve. The Council's mistake was clear. They had judged humanity too quickly. They believed that sheer power would ensure their victory, failing to see the fire that burned in the hearts of humans. As the two ships drew closer, both sides were unaware of the incredible battle that was about to unfold. This was just the beginning, and neither the Council nor humanity would be the same after this confrontation. The stage was set for an epic showdown. The Resolute and the mighty Vortex were on a collision course, and the fate of humanity hung in the balance. The tension was thick in the air as the Resolute and the mighty Vortex moved closer to each other. The crew of the Resolute was on high alert, preparing for the fight of their lives. Captain Sarah Miller stood at the command console, her eyes focused on the screen showing the approaching alien warship. She could see the massive silhouette of the mighty Vortex growing larger, its sharp edges glinting in the sunlight. "Everyone, listen up," Miller called, her voice steady and loud enough to cut through the nervous chatter. "The mighty Vortex is coming in fast. We need to act quickly and wisely. Prepare the weapons and get ready for battle." The crew sprang into action, adrenaline pumping through their veins. Each member knew their role and worked with determination. They loaded the ship's advanced laser cannons and made sure the shields were at full power. The Resolute was not as large or powerful as the alien warship, But the humans had something the aliens did not: teamwork and the will to protect their home. Meanwhile, aboard the mighty Vortex, Admiral Raxor was filled with confidence. "Prepare for a quick strike," he ordered his crew. He believed victory would come easily. The crew of the mighty Vortex eagerly followed his orders, loading their weapons and calibrating their targeting systems. "Once we engage the humans, show no mercy!" Raxor shouted, his eyes filled with excitement. They will learn their lesson today. As the two ships drew closer, both sides felt the weight of the moment. The resolute crew felt fear, but it was mixed with determination. They had trained for this, and now it was time to prove themselves. Miller glanced at her crew, each face reflecting courage. "Remember, we are fighting for Earth," she reminded them. "Stay focused and don't panic." "We can do this!" Suddenly, the alarm rang out on the bridge of the Resolute. "Incoming fire!" a crew member shouted, his voice shaking with urgency. Miller quickly ordered, "Raise the shields! Evasive maneuvers now!" The crew worked in harmony as they executed their captain's orders. The Resolute swerved to the right, just as the alien lasers shot past, barely missing them. The crew cheered, fueled by their successful dodge. But they knew the battle had only just begun. The mighty Vortex fired again, this time with more intensity. Bright green beams of energy shot through space, striking the Resolute. The ship rocked violently as the shields absorbed the impact. "Damage report!" Miller shouted, gripping the console tightly. "We've lost power to the aft section," a crew member replied, quickly working to stabilize the ship. "Divert power from the front shields to the aft," Miller commanded. She knew they had to hold on long enough to strike back. As the battle raged on, Miller's crew found their rhythm. They fired back with their laser cannons, hitting the mighty Vortex with surprising accuracy. The crew cheered as their shots found their mark, causing sparks to fly from the alien ship. "Keep it up," Miller urged. "We're making them feel the heat." Raxor, watching the damage unfold on his ship, felt a shift in the atmosphere. He hadn't expected the humans to fight back so fiercely. "Reinforce our shields and return fire!" he yelled, now realizing that this would not be an easy victory. The two ships exchanged fire, the space around them lighting up with explosions. The Resolute danced around the mighty Vortex, using its smaller size to its advantage. The humans were skilled at maneuvering their ship, taking advantage of every opening they could find. In the chaos, Miller spotted an opening in the alien ship's defenses. "Now's our chance," she yelled. "Fire the main cannon!" With a fierce determination, the crew focused all their firepower on the mighty Vortex. The energy beams shot out, striking the alien ship directly. The impact was powerful. The mighty Vortex shuddered and alarms blared as it lost control for a moment. Raxor could feel the tide of battle changing. "Status report," he demanded, his voice laced with anger and disbelief. "Shields are down to 50%, an officer shouted back. "We're taking heavy damage." As the battle continued, both sides pushed their limits. The humans were no longer seen as weak, they were fighting back with everything they had. The Council's mistake was becoming clear. The humans were not to be underestimated, and this battle was far from over. With the fate of Earth hanging in the balance, both ships braced themselves for what lay ahead. The fight had only just begun, and neither side was willing to back down. The galaxy would witness the strength of humanity, and the Council would soon learn the true meaning of their mistake. The battle raged on in the cold depths of space, with the Resolute and the mighty Vortex locked in a fierce exchange of fire. Captain Sarah Miller stood resolute at the command console, her heart pounding as she shouted commands to her crew. They were holding their ground, but the pressure was mounting. The mighty Vortex was a colossal warship, and every blast that struck the Resolute reminded them of the odds stacked against them. "Keep firing!" Miller commanded, her voice steady but filled with urgency. "We can't let up! They're starting to regroup!" The crew moved like a well-oiled machine, responding to her orders with precision. The ship shook as another blast hit their shields, but they remained intact. "Shields at 60%, a crew member reported, sweat beading on his forehead. Just when it seemed that the mighty Vortex would gain the upper hand, an unexpected event occurred. The Resolute's sensors lit up and an alert blared. "Captain! We're detecting something unusual near the outer edge of the battlefield." "What is it?" Miller asked, her curiosity piqued. "It looks like another human ship." The crew exchanged glances, confusion etched on their faces. "Another ship? Where did it come from?" one crew member wondered aloud. Miller squinted at the screen, her heart racing. Could it be a part of our fleet? We need to get more information. As they scanned the area, the image of a sleek human vessel came into view. It was the Avenger, a fast attack ship known for its agility and speed. The Avenger had been on a separate mission nearby when it received the distress signal from the Resolute. Now it was racing to join the battle. "Captain, they're transmitting a message," another crew member shouted. Miller quickly opened the channel. "Resolute, this is Captain Jax of the Avenger." "We've come to assist!" "What's your status?" The voice crackled through the speakers, full of urgency and determination. "Captain Jax, we're holding our ground, but the mighty vortex is relentless." "We need your firepower," Miller replied, her heart swelling with hope. "Understood. We're engaging now." With that, the Avenger swooped into action, its smaller frame darting around the larger mighty vortex. Captain Jax commanded his crew with confidence, and they opened fire with precision laser blasts. The bright beams struck the alien warship, creating explosions that lit up the darkness of space. Admiral Raxor was taken aback by the appearance of another human ship. "What is happening?" "More humans!" he bellowed, his voice thick with anger. "I thought we were fighting one pathetic ship." The mighty vortex shook from the impact of the Avenger's attacks. Raxor realized the tide was turning. "Reinforce our defenses! Return fire!" he ordered, but panic began to seep into his voice. The humans were not done yet. The Resolute and the Avenger worked in perfect harmony. Miller and Jax communicated seamlessly, coordinating their attacks on the mighty vortex. "Now, Captain, let's hit them with everything we've got," Miller shouted. Together, the two ships unleashed a torrent of fire. The mighty vortex struggled to withstand the combined assault. Lasers crisscrossed in the void of space, striking the alien ship from all angles. Inside the mighty vortex, alarms blared, and crew members scrambled to respond to the onslaught. "Shields are failing! We can't hold!" an officer shouted, panic rising in the air. "Divert all power to the forward shields," Raxor yelled, desperation creeping into his voice. But it was too late. The Resolute and the Avenger pressed their attack, and one final shot from the Avenger struck true. The explosion lit up space as the mighty vortex was rocked by the blast. Raxor struggled to maintain control of his ship as it shuddered and groaned. "We're losing power." "Emergency protocols," he commanded, but the crew was in chaos. They had underestimated the humans, and now they were paying the price. As the battle continued, the alliance between the Resolute and the Avenger proved to be a formidable force. Miller watched with pride as her crew fought fiercely alongside their fellow humans. The Council had believed they could easily destroy Earth's defenders, but now they were witnessing a new reality. "Keep up the pressure," Miller shouted, her voice ringing with confidence. "We're not backing down. This is our home." The mighty vortex was in full retreat, struggling to escape the firestorm unleashed by the two human ships. The Council's mistake was now evident. They had dismissed humanity's strength and resilience. As the tide of battle shifted, the galaxy would remember this day. The Resolute and the Avenger were not just defending Earth. They were proving that humanity could stand united against any threat. And this was just the beginning of their fight for survival. The battle continued to rage, but the tide had clearly turned in favor of the humans. Captain Sarah Miller and Captain Jax of the Avenger were relentless in their pursuit of victory against the mighty vortex. The alien warship was battered, its shields nearly depleted, and the crew aboard was in chaos. Miller could hardly believe her eyes as the screens in the command center of the Resolute displayed the damage they had inflicted. "We're doing it!" she shouted, excitement bubbling in her voice. "Keep the pressure on, team. We're close to victory!" The crew cheered as they fired another round of laser beams at the mighty vortex, which shuddered violently. Raxor, the alien admiral, struggled to regain control. "Divert all power to the rear shields!" he shouted, panic creeping into his voice. "Prepare for emergency jumps. We must retreat!" But just as the mighty vortex seemed ready to flee, a surprising turn of events occurred. Suddenly, a transmission blared over the communications channel. It was a voice they had not expected. "This is Admiral Varys of the Galactic Council. Stand down, Raxor!" Both Miller and Jax exchanged confused glances. "What is going on?" Miller whispered, barely able to hear herself over the alarms. On the screen, Admiral Varys continued, his tone authoritative. "Raxor, you are in violation of Council orders. The destruction of the human ships is strictly forbidden." "Admiral, we are engaged in battle," Raxor protested, his voice thick with anger. We cannot just turn back now. Enough! The Council has decided that we will no longer engage the humans. They have proven to be formidable. Withdraw your forces immediately, Varys ordered. Miller couldn't believe her ears. The Galactic Council was pulling the plug on Raxor's mission? What a twist, she murmured, watching the display in shock. Captain, should we continue firing? Jax asked, his eyes wide with uncertainty. Hold your fire, Miller commanded. Let's see what happens next. We have to be careful. Raxor's face twisted with rage as he realized he had no choice. This is a disgrace, he roared. I will not retreat like a coward. Retreat now or face the consequences. Varys snapped back, his voice unyielding. As the crew of the mighty Vortex hesitated, Miller took a deep breath, sensing an opportunity. If they retreat now, we could win this battle without losing more lives, she said, looking at Jax. But we need to show them we mean business. Agreed, Jax replied. What do you have in mind? Let's prepare a warning shot. Something to remind them we won't back down, she said, her mind racing. If they think we are ready for a real fight, they might reconsider their choices. In unison, the two ships prepared for their maneuver. The Resolute powered up its main cannon, aiming carefully at the mighty Vortex. With a steady hand, Miller took a deep breath and shouted, Fire! The energy beam shot across the void, striking just ahead of the mighty Vortex. The explosion erupted in a bright flash, sending a clear message that the humans were still a force to be reckoned with. Admiral, they are still ready to fight! Raxor barked, his anger boiling over. Varys' voice cut through the chaos. Raxor, you have your orders! Do not make this worse for yourself. The mighty Vortex, battered and beaten, finally began to pull away from the fight. The crew of the Resolute watched as the alien warship turned, retreating into the depths of space. Cheers erupted on the bridge of the Resolute. We did it! We actually did it! Miller exclaimed, a huge smile on her face. Jax grinned, relief washing over him. We showed them what we are made of. But as the excitement faded, Miller's expression turned serious. This isn't over, she said, looking at the stars beyond. The Galactic Council may have ordered a retreat, but they won't forget this defeat. We need to be ready for whatever comes next. The crew nodded in agreement, realizing that while they had won this battle, the war was far from over. They had sent a powerful message to the Galactic Council. Humanity was strong, resilient, and would not be easily defeated. As the mighty Vortex disappeared into the distance, Miller felt a sense of pride swell within her. They had not only survived, but had also struck a blow against those who thought they could bully Earth. The Council had underestimated humanity, and they would pay for their mistake. With renewed determination, Miller and her crew prepared for the challenges that lay ahead. They had proven themselves today, and they would continue to fight for their future and their planet. The real battle was just beginning, and humanity was ready to face it head-on. The battle against the mighty Vortex had ended, but the war for humanity's future was just beginning. Captain Sarah Miller stood on the bridge of the Resolute, gazing out into the vastness of space. The crew was buzzing with excitement, celebrating their unexpected victory. They had stood strong against a powerful enemy, and now they were determined to prepare for whatever challenges lay ahead. Captain, incoming transmission from Admiral Varys, a crew member called out, breaking the joyful chatter. On screen, Miller replied, her heart racing with anticipation. The face of Admiral Varys appeared, looking serious yet relieved. Congratulations, Captain Miller. You and your crew have done an outstanding job today, Varys said, his voice steady. You have proven that humans are not to be underestimated. Miller felt a swell of pride at his words. Thank you, Admiral. We had no choice but to fight for our lives and for Earth. Varys nodded. The Council is reconsidering its approach toward humanity. Your actions today have changed their perception. They now see that we cannot treat Earth like a pawn in our games. You've opened their eyes. Do you really think the Council will change? Jax asked, standing beside Miller. After all this, will they treat us as equals? It will take time, but yes, Varys replied. We must show them that we are worthy of respect. This is the first step toward a new relationship. Miller's heart raced with the possibilities. What happens next? Prepare for further communication. We need to discuss terms for a peaceful coexistence. I will send a delegation to meet with you soon, Varys explained. Understood, Admiral, Miller said, her voice firm. We will be ready. As the transmission ended, the crew erupted into cheers again. They were ready for a new beginning, one that would see humanity standing shoulder to shoulder with other civilizations in the galaxy. Days turned into weeks as the Resolute continued to patrol the area, making sure no remnants of the mighty vortex returned. The crew trained harder than ever, preparing for potential threats while also remaining hopeful for peace. They had proven their strength, but the need for vigilance remained. Then the day arrived. A sleek alien vessel approached the Resolute, its design unfamiliar yet elegant. Miller stood at the helm, feeling a mix of excitement and anxiety. Would this be a diplomatic mission, or would it bring trouble? The alien ship docked smoothly, and soon after, a delegation stepped aboard the Resolute. Admiral Varys led the group, accompanied by several council members, including Raxor, who had once commanded the mighty Vortex. Miller felt a rush of mixed emotions at seeing him again. He had been her enemy, but now they were all part of a new beginning. "Captain Miller?" Varys began, looking at her with respect. "Thank you for hosting us. We are here to discuss how we can move forward." Miller nodded, gathering her thoughts. "We're ready to listen. What do you propose?" Raxor stepped forward, his expression less hostile than before. "I realize now that we underestimated you and your people. The Council wishes to establish a treaty that acknowledges Earth as an independent planet. We want to ensure that we work together instead of against each other." A murmur of surprise ran through the crew. Miller felt a sense of hope rising within her. "You mean a real treaty?" "Yes," Varys confirmed. "A treaty that would ensure peace and mutual respect among our races. This includes shared technology, trade, and protection against any threats." Miller looked around at her crew, who were listening intently. This was what they had fought for, a chance to build a future together. "We accept," she said firmly. "Let's build a better future." As the meeting continued, the atmosphere shifted. It was no longer about war, but about collaboration. Together, they discussed plans for research, sharing knowledge, and even joint missions to explore unknown territories. Miller couldn't help but smile. This was the new beginning humanity had longed for. They were no longer just a small planet on the edge of the galaxy. They were a part of something bigger. They were equal players on a grand stage, ready to shape the future together. The discussions lasted hours, filled with laughter and camaraderie as old enemies became new allies. When the meeting concluded, everyone left with a renewed sense of purpose. As the Resolute continued its journey, Miller reflected on how far they had come. They had fought fiercely for their survival, but now they were on the path to peace. The battles had made them stronger, and they would carry that strength into the future. In the end, they had not only survived, they had thrived. A new chapter awaited humanity in the stars, and they were ready to embrace it with open arms. The galaxy would now see them as equals, and together they would explore the wonders of the universe, united and unafraid.